Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Rubicon. Now that we've owned it for just over a year, we want to give you our feedback on the pros and cons, the things that we've run into, and just give you a general update on how we feel about our Rubicon. Well, it's been just over a year we've had the Rubicon, and we've put roughly 12,000 miles on it in that time. We've had it on several different long road trips from Greenville down to Florida and back, and we've had it out to Atlanta, out to Charlotte, down to Charleston. So we've done a fair amount of long road trips in it, so we feel we have a pretty good understanding and feel for how it is to own this vehicle. And we'll share some of those things that we've run into with it. Overall, we've been extremely satisfied with this vehicle, so let me put that disclaimer out there first. You guys don't have to forward to the end to see that. Really, the things that I'm going to pick on are a little bit nitpicky, all aside for my number one concern and my biggest concern with this. I don't know if the camera is going to pick this up, but if you look at the color, this front grille is actually yellowing. So the color of this Rubicon being white, you have a little bit of a yellow tint to this, and yes, it's pollen season, and the Jeep's a little bit dirty right now, but I don't know if you guys can see that shade difference or not, but it is definitely a hue of yellow on this, and it's not from the pollen. So that's really my only major gripe with this vehicle. One of the other problems that we ran into with it was the rear defroster. Excuse my mess in here. I didn't realize that we had beach stuff in here. We're getting ready for a Myrtle Beach beach jam. Hopefully we'll meet some of you guys out there. So one problem we ran into was the defroster connection here. This actually came off of the window, and because of that they had to replace this rear window. I guess they can't just solder this back on, but again, that was covered by the warranty, so no big deal there. Just a slight inconvenience to bring it in to have that done. One other thing that we had happen to us during our ownerships thus far is we did have someone rear end us in the bumper. You can see some of that pollen built up on here, but it was just a slight love tap. Actually, in the car line for my son, while we were dropping him off for school, one of the ladies wasn't paying attention and bumped into the back of us. Again, not a big deal. I believe it cost us $60 to just have it pulled out a little bit. It was just a slight gap off here, so we did have that done. Again, not a big problem. Huge fan of the steel bumpers. Highly recommend that. If we had the plastic, we might have had to replace one of those pieces. But the tires, as you can see, 12,000 miles on them. They do have some wear, but being worn out, far from it. We have rotated them once, and they show no signs of any uneven wear on them, so I'm really happy with those. Again, these KO2 tires are pretty quiet. They're a great tire. I recommend these to anybody. If you're getting into some of this red clay that we have out here though, and you're an off-roader, I'd probably go with the KM2, and I'm sure you've seen that in my other videos on some of the trails and the comparison. The KM2s are definitely noisier, but these KO2s do a great job when you're not in that clay. So let's hop inside here and take a look. Again, everything inside has been holding up great. We've had no problems with the screen. Everything cleans up really nice. Now the black does show all this pollen, so we've been cleaning up pollen constantly. But other than that, it's been fantastic. Big fan of our alien sunshade in here. That's been very handy, especially now that it's getting nicer out. We can actually take the top off. So had no problems with any of these connectors. Everything's been great. The front sway bar disconnect and the lockers have been working great. The shifter, if you're a manual guy, this shifter blows away the JK that we had last. We're a big fan of this shifter. We've had no problems with it. The clutch is phenomenal in this vehicle. It's very easy to just let the clutch out without giving it gas and just let the Jeep carry itself forward. It does a great job with that. So all in all, we really don't have any complaints about this Jeep. If you look at the seats, you can tell the seats, they're the cloth seats in our Rubicon, they've been holding up great. We've had no problems with that. The speakers, no problems with that. And I do occasionally turn them up to jam. This particular Rubicon, we don't have the upgraded Alpine, but it's been fine. I mean, I enjoy that, having that in my Moab, but here in the Rubicon, I really don't have any complaints. Yeah, it doesn't have the bass that the Moab has with the subwoofer in it, but overall, it's been good. Pretty happy with that. So, all in all, with those miles, and the road trips that we've done, we've really had no problems. I mean, it's been a great vehicle. We haven't had to have it in the shop for anything. It's been great. So if you guys want to see our vehicle or talk to us, we'll be over there at the Beach Jam, Beach Crawl on Sunday. We have that lined up. Maybe some of you guys can stop out, say hello. We always love meeting new Jeep people. But again, really this has been worry-free. We've done a couple of oil changes and tires rotated, but no problems. It hasn't left us stranded. Just had the defroster, but I mean, most of you Jeep people who really own Jeeps and understand them, you don't really use that defroster much anyway. So it just kind of, I noticed it not because it wasn't working, but because I happened to be putting something in the back and saw it was dangling, not because I had a problem with it not working when I needed it. We're a big fan of the rear view camera. That's night and day better than the old version. The picture's much clearer on the screen. I guess one of our gripes would be that this often gets dirty, so every time we walk past it, we end up wiping it off to make sure it's clear, and that's a minor thing. Really, that's about it. We always keep our hitch in here now. Ever since we got rear-ended, we figure if they're gonna hit us, let them hit the hitch and do more damage to their own car. But other than that, we're averaging around 16, 17 miles per gallon in this. Obviously, when you're on the freeway, you get a little bit better, as long as you don't drive too fast. If you start driving above 70, 75, your gas mileage comes down a little bit. You don't get as good, but if you stick to the speed limits, it will actually get into the 20s for you, no problem. That's about it. We really, I mean, I want to sit here and tell you all these things are bad on this, but there really aren't anything other than this yellowing, and that's the only thing that bothers me, that I would say watch out for if you're a Jeep owner. Having lived with this Jeep for about a year, some things that aren't wrong with the Jeep, but I would highly recommend, is the proximity door locks. I'm a big fan of that with the Moab. After having my Jeep with that, I go into my wife's Jeep, it frustrates me. But I mean, that's not a problem with the Jeep, that's just an option we didn't select when we got it. So in hindsight, I would get the proximity locks all day long. I think it's a must-have for me. I know it's petty, but having the two different Jeeps really teaches you that petty thing is important to you. But all in all, highly recommend it. It's been a great vehicle. It's a little bouncier than the Moab, but I would buy this again in a heartbeat, no regrets. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy the overview. If there's some other things you want to know about, please let me know. Leave it in the messages down below, and I will make sure that I respond back to you. If there's something you want to see particularly, let me know about that, and I'll do my best to either get you a video or respond back to you. And I like to get those questions and answer those as quickly as I can. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Again, subscribe, click that like button, hit the bell so you get the most recent updates. And if you could, we're on Instagram, Quick Shifts. Please